It's going to be a movie review. Me and Tyler, this is my friend Tyler.
Hello.
I'll put a link to his YouTube channel.
Yes.
Life of Ty, I think this one is.
That's the life I live.
I'll put a link to his channel in the description for all 6 of you to go subscribe. Because I'm sure that's how many views I'm going to get. But we're huge fans of the Fast and Furious franchise. I think this is, what, the second or third straight Fast and Furious movie we've seen in the theaters together?
I think we've seen 6.
7, and now 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3. We just saw Fate of Furious. I still call it Fast and Furious 8 even. But whatever. So, what were your initial thoughts after coming out of... We literally just saw the movie. So.
Oh, after coming out of the theater?
Yeah.
That we're still parked at? I think coming out, I think it was surprisingly calm. There was more, I think, reassurance. I wasn't as panicky. Not to say it wasn't intense, but it wasn't really suspenseful. Just
like you kind of knew what was gonna.
I was like,
on.
everything's gonna be okay. And I'm not gonna give spoilers, but I was wondering when like characters are finally gonna do what I wanted them to do. Then they finally did, and I was like, I knew it. Everything's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. It was a good movie. I still would recommend seeing it, but it wasn't as good as some of the other movies. I think 7 was better. I think 6 was better. 5 is kind of tied. I think it's better than any of the first 3, including Tokyo Drift. Probably better than the first 4, so...
See, the way I am with these movies is every movie that I watch becomes my favorite. And I think I'd like... Because right now, 7 was my favorite.
7 just hits you in the feels, though.
Jason Statham is one of my favorite actors, as far as that genre goes.
Yeah.
And he was... more heavily incorporated. Ironically, he brought the humor to it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to laugh with his scenes, but sure enough, I did.
Yeah, I mean, my main problem is, like, with this movie, I don't know if it's just because since I've seen them, I've started becoming more of a film fan, so I see a lot of movies. I've probably seen, like, at least 30 so far this year. I've seen a lot of movies. I go to the movie theater at least once a week.
Good lord. That's a good habit to get into. I want to do that.
And, so some of the stuff that happened was a little bit predictable to me, just because it's like, alright, that happened, alright, that's not gonna happen to him. That's way too early for that to happen, for it to be real.
I know the part you're talking about.
And I'm trying not to ruin it. And then some of the stuff the characters did was kind of, or certain characters' relationships developed way too quickly than they should have, especially since some of the characters, it was like 2 movies building where they don't like each other and then they end up being like best friends at the end. It's like, that was kind of a quick turn, because I'm pretty sure everything in this movie happened in like a week.
Well, it makes you wonder if like shit's gonna carry over.
Yeah.
Not very cliffhangery, no post-credit scene.
Yeah, they didn't do that for the last movie either, but they still had to deal with the Paul Walker thing, so that was understandable. Yeah. I know they did a post-credit scene after 5, after 6.
Which, surprisingly, Eva Mendes on, like, IMDb was, like, rumored to be in this, but I feel like they did a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Because Sean from Tokyo Drift was supposed to be in this as well, but scheduling conflicts and stuff. So I feel like this movie, I don't know, it seemed very calm. A lot of good cameos. This was more, I think, of an in-between for some reason.
Yeah, it's my first movie without Paul Walker, so it's gonna feel different. And from what I've known and heard after I follow movie news all the time, they had 6, 7, and 8 planned out like a while ago. Because while they were doing press for 6, they were talking about, oh, we're gonna do this in 7, which they did. We're going to do this in 8. We're going to do this in 9. They had this planned out, and I think this is a completely different movie than what they had originally intended for 8 to be. And you can kind of tell that, because it's like, you did that in 7, in the first half of 7, and then it's like, oh, we're just, Dominic's the bad guy. Oh, okay. Don't think that would have happened if Paul Walker was still going to be in the picture.
Yeah, I think they needed something to rope fans back into it and to get them hooked, like to get them. That's why this is more of a transition. It's like, all right, not all the original cast is in it. but come watch it anyway.
They,
It's good.
they still mention Brian's character, Paul Walker's character Brian. They mention him, so it's not like, oh, we're just never gonna mention that character.
A lot of twists and turns with this movie. It wasn't suspenseful, but there was a lot getting thrown at you, and it was pleasantly surprising. I enjoyed it.
It was a good Fast and Furious movie.